So, J. Ruud, what lovable book are we talking about today?
Well, Stacey Margaret Jones, I'll give you a hint. Leave India to God or anarchy.
Well, we just did an India book.
We did. So this isn't that one.
It's not A Passage to India by Ian Forster.
It is not.
I don't know. I'm going to need more.
All right.
Welcome to Between the Covers, the weekly podcast in which author J. Ruud makes the case for a book for his 100 most lovable novels in the English language list, and I interrogate him about it. I'm author Stacey Margaret Jones, and if you've seen our previous seasons and notice a difference, it's because we are now recording in our 3-month rental in Burgundy, France, while we look for a house to buy. So that's a little bit of a life update and why we had the break, and now we're back. All right, well, I need another hint.
All right, here's hint number 2. The Bibigar Gardens.
I don't know. Have I read this book?
I'm pretty sure not.
Oh, okay. Okay, hint number 3, me.
Hint number 3, the Raj Quartet.
I probably would put a book on this list called The Far Pavilions, which I read in high school. It was like 1,100 pages, and it was about India. And it was quite an epic novel, but I'm pretty sure this isn't it. So what is it?
This is not The Far Pavilions. This is The Jewel in the Crown by Paul Scott.
I mean, I don't know anything about this book. I don't know if I've ever heard of it.
This is probably one of the ones, at least with American readers, that's more obscure.
Well, that's interesting. I guess I must have heard of it. The title sounds familiar to me, but I have never read this. All right, so who else likes this book?
Well, let me start by giving you a little bit of a background. Paul Scott, who wrote this.
You can just ask yourself the questions. I'll go have a glass of wine.
Well, I need to give you a little background. Otherwise, it will mean little. Paul Scott is the author of 13 novels, but he only began writing seriously when he was in his 40s. He had been a literary agent, and he represented such writers as Arthur C. Clarke and Muriel Spark.
Oh, Muriel?
He only represented people whose last names rhymed with Ark. No. Sir Arthur C. Clarke is the author of Childhood End and 2001 Space Odyssey. Muriel Spark, Dame Muriel Spark, the author of The Pride of Miss Jean Brodie and other well-regarded books. But anyway, he decided finally to give up being a literary agent and start writing himself. And he got a stipend to return to India, where he had served in the British Army during the Second World War. And from his experiences there, he conceived and composed a tetralogy of novels published between 1966 and 1975 concerning the last days of the British Raj. And they're known collectively as the Raj Quartet. The Jewel in the Crown, The Day of the Scorpion, The Towers of Silence, and A Division of the Spoils. And those books made him famous and respected novelist.
But you said tetralogy?
Yeah, 4 books.
Oh, okay.
And the London Times called the quartet one of the most important landmarks in post-war fiction. So that's one answer to who loves the novel. The
London Times.
Actually, his final novel, Staying On, which was published in 1977, was a kind of sequel to the Raj Quartet, and it finally won him the Booker Prize shortly before he died of cancer in 1978. And it's likely that the Booker Prize jury was influenced by the books that preceded Staying On, particularly the first novel in the Raj Quartet, The Jewel in the Crown, which was published in 1966. and is generally considered his masterpiece. It was number 81 on the BBC's 2015 list of the 100 greatest British novels. So there's another group who loved the book, the BBC. And in 2011, it was named on the Modern Library's list of the 200 best novels in English since 1950. So that's who loves the book.
All right. So you didn't have 500 people to name.
No, this isn't on that many lists.
Yeah. How did it get on your list? Was it on
I think
which list of those?
Well, the BBC 100 Greatest British Novels list was one that I had read.
All right. All right. Well, can you give us the down and dirty summary? Will you go down in despair with the trombones, or will the harps of glory lift you up?
We'll find out. So you have to
Not starting out well.
You have to understand the background of the novel. Because
Wah, wah.
just give me a chance. Britain's been promising India independence since World War I and has kept putting it off. And in 1942, in the middle of World War II, the Japanese win a victory in Burma. The Indians can see that the British are on the ropes, and there's a lot of pressure for the British to leave. Although they believed if they left, India would fall to Japan. Gandhi and members of the Indian Congress who supported him were engaging in this Leave India campaign where Gandhi said, leave India to God or anarchy.
Oh, okay.
Basically, just get out.
Right. It's for us to solve our problems, not you.
Yeah. The Hindus and the Muslims are showing signs of rebellion, and there's racial and religious tensions crumbling. And against that backdrop, the novel's narrator is investigating events that occurred in the fictional city of Mayapur surrounding a notorious legal case involving the gang rape of an English woman and involving the relationship between that woman and an Indian man and perhaps an overzealous British police officer.
Perhaps.
And the novel is presented as a kind of assemblage of fragments of the narrator's research. So it consists of third-person narration, transcriptions of interviews, recollections of conversations, the text of letters from people connected with the affair, an unpublished memoir, a diary, and journal entries from some of the principal figures involved. And it's not always in precise chronological order. So that's a summary of the book.
Oh, are we still doing the down and dirty summary?
This is the down and dirty summary. Oh, man.
No way.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You're not, okay. It's just the short description of the book.
but I couldn't describe the book shortly and simply.
We have the rest of the podcast to talk about the nuances, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Whatever.
So petulant. All right. What is lovable about this book?
Well, I think one of the lovable things is the way that it's presented, with all those different fragments of possible things that the narrator gets his information from.
What year did this come out again?
1966.
Oh, I was going to say, it's very postmodern.
Yeah, it is. Although, actually, John Dos Passos, in his USA trilogy, which is like around World War I, does this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So it's more modern than postmodern, I think.
But still, it's taking apart the traditional narrative structure.
It definitely does that.
And also, I guess it sounds like it's asking a question, which is what I'm going to report back on my Ian McEwan novel I'm reading, which is, the novel is called What We Can Know, and it's about different ways that we know things or don't know things.
Yeah.
And this sounds like the structure itself is asking you what can be known about something that is not knowable to the outside people.
Yeah.
So it's like, here are all these sources of information, right?
Yeah.
But how do we know?
How do you put it together and form a logical, coherent meaning?
You just ask ChatGPT.
Well, that wouldn't be my choice.
Me either. All right.
But you can see that this novel does have some similarities to Passage to India.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like it a lot.
Yeah, so, I mean, almost like Paul Scott had read that book and was in some ways inspired by it.
Do you think he had?
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm sure he read that book. He's a British writer who's going to write about India, and he's going to include this case of a woman's rape in the book as sort of the major event. It's very much a callback to Passage to India, but the way that he tells the story does something that Forster's not really able to do in his novel the way he tells it. Because part of that narrative technique, I guess you could call it, of all the different events that come from all these different points of view, is that it illustrates the complexity of the whole situation in India.
Yeah.
The complexity of the different nations, the different, the British versus the Indian, the complexities of Muslim versus Hindu, the complexity of lower class and upper class.
And it's also that none of those things are monolithic. They all have their own, right?
Yeah.
Their own factions and, iterations and individual disagreements. And so that makes it even exponentially more complex.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're getting all of these different points of view that show you how the complexity of the narration shows the complexity of the situation in the novel.
And the form of the novel, again, is chosen because it illustrates the complexity, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. Like, how else could you tell the story?
Not, you could tell it the way that Ian Forster does.
But it's a different story.
It's a different story.
Obviously.
Yeah. I mean, Forster's novel really is mostly a British point of view that is realizing the problem with that point of view and the shortcomings of that point of view. And this one is, oh my God, look at all the points of view.
So it's not just inspired by, it's really in conversation with, like, there's more to this. Let's take a similar situation and demonstrate how much more complex it really is.
Yeah.
Were they both, they're set in different times?
Yeah, so that's also part of the complexity.
Because Forster's Edwardian?
Forster's is really set around, say, 1912 or so. It's set before World War I, which is when he started to write it. He didn't finish until 1924. But it's set basically 30 years before The Jewel in the Crown, which is 1942.
Okay.
So it's set before World War I. This is set after World War I, during World War II.
Right.
When England has spent almost 30 years promising India it would get its independence.
Prevaricating.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, it's fascinating, too, because like I keep coming back to the structure, because, when you decide to tell a story, that's one of the first decisions you have to make is who's going to tell it, how are they going to know, what's the perspective, what are the limitations of the perspective, all that. Yeah. But it also, I don't remember what this was originally said about, if it was about religious belief or philosophy, but we had a substitute minister at our church, and she uttered this line about something that was, it wasn't that it was unknowable, it was that it was infinitely knowable. And they are different, right? Yeah. And it sounds like he's saying India is infinitely knowable. Yeah. And these are just a few of the ways in, right? A few of the perspectives.
Yeah.
Because unknowable is, I won't try, right?
Well, yeah, or I cannot figure
I don't have the capacity. But infinitely knowable is, start going. Start knowing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And you'll find out a lot of things, many of which are contradictory.
Yeah.
Another thing that's lovable about the novel is just the historical detail. It's so detailed. Behind everything is this historical Quit India campaign of Gandhi's, and the details about the Indian National Congress approving Gandhi's demand, and then the British imprisoning all the members of the Congress without trials.
But really, we're going to leave, really.
Yeah. But that's...
Before then, you're all going to prison.
Yeah, for the duration of the war. Because, these are people who are messing up our war against the Japanese.
Right.
And then that sparks the civil unrest that roils in the novel's background. And the rape of...
the alleged?
Well, it is definitely an actual rape.
Okay.
It's a gang rape of a woman named Daphne Manners. She's a young English woman. She's lost her family in the war. She's come to India to live with her closest living relative, who's the wife of a former provincial governor. And this Lady Manners sends Daphne to live with her Brahmin friend, Lady Chatterjee, who Daphne calls Aunt Lily.
If you're listening, he's doing a lot of gesticulating, and I have poured a glass of wine, and I don't want it to be a casualty of his.
So Aunt Lily lives in Mayapur. That's the fictional city. As Forster had his fictional Chandrapur, Scott's got his...
Is it supposed to be something like Mumbai or?
It's Punjab, I think.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure.
It doesn't matter.
It probably doesn't matter that much. It's just a place in India. Anyway, it's during the civil unrest, after the Congress has been arrested and jailed, that this gang rape takes place. But it takes place in this garden, which is sort of isolated, where Daphne is actually meeting her lover, whose name is Hari Kumar. And Hari Kumar is an Indian guy who's been raised in England. His father has died, and he's realized his father actually is bankrupt. And he has to come back to India, even though he has never been in India. He was raised as an Englishman, went to public schools in India. All his friends are British, upper-class British people. He comes to India, and he gets arrested by this British officer named Ronald Merrick, who is really the sort of villain of the piece.
The Javert.
Yeah. Who's a lower-class Englishman. He's a working-class Englishman who really despises Hari Kumar. Because he's an upper-class Englishman.
because he's racist and he cannot stand, right?
Right. Well, that's right. I mean, he hates upper-class British intellectuals anyway. One who's Indian.
Well, yeah,
really
because how does this brown person dare to be hoity-toity?
And he's arrested because he refuses to answer questions that are shouted at him in Hindi because he doesn't speak Hindi. He has never been in India before. Anyway, Merrick actually wants Daphne Manners to marry him.
I was going to say.
He has proposed to her.
Right.
Out of the blue, because it's been, there's no indication that there's any love or anything. He just wants to marry her because he wants to have a wife. Thinks it'll look good or something.
Well, you know what they say about marriage.
They would say a lot of things about marriage.
That's the way that even the poorest man can have a servant.
Okay, well, maybe.
I mean, you don't, because I don't do those things.
No, I've never had a servant in you. Yeah, so Merrick hates Kumar. So it's while she's there in the Bibigar Gardens with Kumar that they are basically attacked. He's beaten up. These guys are. It's dark. She doesn't see any of them. They throw something. They throw like a bag over her face, and then she's gang raped while he is tied up and has to watch. And Merrick, of course, is the police chief, and he's going to see that this is taken care of. So he immediately arrests 4 Hindu guys that he finds near the place.
Like the Central Park.
Yeah.
Vibe.
Yeah.
Here, you're out.
They're drinking.
Yeah.
They're actually upper class Hindus, so he doesn't like them anyway. Mm-hmm. They just get arrested. And then he arrests Hari Kumar.
Of course.
Because he's sure that he had to be there. Daphne, by the way, knows that Merrick is going to immediately charge Kumar and tells him, never admit you were there. Mm-hmm. So everybody that he's arrested is basically pressured pretty strongly into confessing.
Is that a euphemism?
For beating them up?
Yeah.
And Kumar, more than anybody.
Right, because he really hates him.
Completely, but he doesn't. He never admits that he was there. And the others are clearly not guilty.
Yeah.
And they want Daphne to testify and say who it was who attacked her. And of course, she didn't see any of them. But she says she's sure it wasn't the 4 that they've arrested. Mm-hmm. Because for one thing, and she tells this, it doesn't go to trial. She tells this to the lawyers and judge. She says, I know that at least one of them had to have been a Muslim because he was circumcised.
Oh.
And they don't want that. None of them want that, her testifying to that. And then she really throws a wrench into things and says, for all I know, they might have been British.
Right, because she couldn't see.
That's right. So
they really don't like that.
They really don't like that. And it never really comes to trial. They keep Hari in jail because he is suspicious and might be some kind of spy or something.
I was going to
say. So they make up a charge for him, and Daphne is looked down upon by all the British throughout India because this outrage has been all over the papers and everything. And because she won't testify, everybody's down on her.
Do they know about her relationship with Hari? Is that another reason that they malign her?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's not well known other than by Merrick and a few other people.
So
anyway.
It's just that she won't stand up for Britain's virtue by testifying against these people that were randomly corralled outside the crime scene.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this the first book, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's I think Merrick appears in the later books, and as well as a few of the other characters. Daphne, I don't think does, nor Hari. But that's the different parts of the, who saw what, put this all together. I mean, it's not narrated this way, kind of straight and direct. Mm-hmm. In fact, the novel begins with a story told in third person, focusing on a particular woman who has nothing to do with this. The whole first part focuses on this British school teacher who's been in India for like 30 years, teaching Indian children. And she loves India. Her name's Edwina Crane. She's superintendent of the Anglican mission schools in the province. She's coming to the end of her career. She has a painting on her wall that's called "The Jewel in Her Crown." And it's a picture of Queen Victoria and a bunch of Indian politicians and dignitaries offering her this great diamond. And she explains to the guy who comes to her house and sees this, this is an allegory. It never really happened. But India has always been seen as the jewel of the British Empire. So it is the jewel in Victoria's crown. So that's where the title comes from.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting.
But she actually, she has that picture, and she has a picture of Gandhi on her wall. And when Gandhi begins his Quit India campaign, she takes the picture of Gandhi down. And then later, after all this mess with the uprising takes place, she takes the picture of Queen Victoria down too.
Like she's disillusioned with everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She, and in that first part, she gets caught up in the same uprising that is part of the rape of Daphne. It's a completely different occasion, but it's the same uprising because she has gone to another town to do a sort of checkup on the school there. And the guy who runs the school decides he's going to drive her back because things are getting a little rough outside the town. And she's, nothing's going to happen to me, nothing's going to happen. And of course, the car gets stopped. They ultimately kill the guy that was trying to take her. And she's discovered in the rain holding his dead body.
Oh, God.
And that story gets connected in the public opinion with the Daphne rape, as if, they were targeting British women in this uprising.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's basically the story. I won't tell you the end because everything really comes as a surprise when you get to the end.
Yeah, don't wreck it. It does remind me of what Chaim Potok said when we heard him speak about his fiction, which is that, he looked at where cultures had friction with each other and tried to kind of use that friction to explore both cultures, right?
Yeah.
And the values and the mores of each of the conflicting groups, right?
Yeah.
And it's obviously happening here because they are in conflict because they want different things, right? They can't agree on their future, their shared future. It just reminds me of him talking about how that's such a rich mine for fiction because there's so many things to explore about people. It's people's individual lives, as this shows, right? Hari's and Daphne's and Merrick's. And what was the teacher's name?
Edwina Crane.
And Edwina, and of course the people wrongfully accused, it's their individual lives. And then it's also, it's just, millions of people are impacted by this kind of friction.
Yeah, yeah. So in the end, you really don't know what happened to the Bigard Gardens until the end, just like you don't know what happened to the caves in Passage to India until, you never really know what happened to them.
No, you never know there.
But you do find out the truth about what happened to Bigard. You also find out what happens to Edwina Crane eventually, and that's a real shocker.
Don't talk too much.
I'm not gonna. I mean, she's after the first part, she's just kind of a name, and I think Daphne wants to try to visit her. Aunt Lily wants to visit her in the hospital, and they won't let her. So she's in the hospital for a while, but that's kind of all you hear about her until you get this kind of shock at the end.
How long is the book? It sounds like it's long.
It's longer than Passage to India. It's like 470 pages.
So it's not terrible.
1966.
Okay.
One last thing I would say that's lovable about the book, and that's the style.
Okay.
Scott writes with this kind of almost classical structure to his sentences. He uses a lot of parallelism, a lot of balanced phrases, and he uses a climactic kind of structure to his sentences that might surprise you by ending in an anticlimax. So it's really a style that's impressive.
It's really crafted on the sentence level.
It is. Here's just a sentence from early in the novel about Miss Crane.
Do you want me to read it?
If you can, yeah.
She had devoted her life in a practical and unimportant way, trying to prove that fear was evil because it promoted prejudice, that courage was good because it was a sign of selflessness, that ignorance was bad because fear sprang from it, that knowledge was good because the more you knew of the world's complexity, the more clearly you saw the insignificance of the part you played.
Yeah.
You're right. It's like, that's not where it was going.
That anticlimax, it's just a masterful sentence. And then it's even more complex.
You can hear our dog sighing.
Yeah, he liked it too. The parallelism and the climax are more complex in this later sentence or paragraph. It's got a metaphor of the growing seed, and it describes the chief conflict of the entire novel, the unfulfilled promise of Indian independence, with a complexity that reflects that of the novel as a whole in a nutshell. So if you would like to read that one.
I would love to. For years, since the 18th century, and in each century since, we have said at home in England, in Whitehall, that the day would come when our rule in India will end, not bloodily, but in peace, in, so we made it seem, a perfect gesture of equality and friendship and love. For years, for nearly a century, the books that Indians have read have been the books of our English radicals, our English liberals. There has been, you see, a seed planted in the Indian imagination and in the English imagination. For years we have been promising, and for years finding means of putting the fulfillment of the promise off until the promise stopped looking like a promise and started looking only like a sinister prevarication, even to me, let alone to Indians who think and feel and know the same as me. And the tragedy is that between us there is this little matter of the color of the skin, which gets in the way of our seeing through each other's failings and seeing into each other's hearts. Because if we saw through them, into them, then we should know. And what we should know is that the promise is a promise and will be fulfilled.
That's damn good writing.
That is damn good writing. And I'm also patting myself on the back because I used the word prevaricating.
That you did.
And I didn't even know that was in there.
Prefigured
That's right.
that sentence.
He called it the same thing. Interesting. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, I think, an interesting story with a lot of things to think about and that comes together well and that opens loops and closes them and has fascinating, believable characters is still not as enjoyable as just a novel that's written well on the sentence level. Like, it's fun to move your eyes across the page. It's fun. I read aloud a lot. My mom reads aloud because she has eye problems, and so if she reads aloud, it slows her down. So she read aloud to herself. And I read aloud a lot because I like the sounds of the words. And I like to also kind of slow myself down a little bit so that I can enjoy the way the author has, written the sentences. And this seems like a book that would be rewarding to read aloud, even if you're just reading it aloud to yourself or your dogs.
Or each other. We read books aloud to each other all the time.
Yes.
And it's really, sometimes we do just have to stop and say, that
was great.
A great sentence.
Well, yeah, we're reading Trollope aloud right now, and Trollope is very enjoyable to read aloud because just everything about it is enjoyable. To slow down and enjoy the words.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, why might someone not love this novel?
Well, you have to have an interest in India, I think, to love this novel. And having been there, it's very interesting to me on that level. But although I think it's a real strength of the novel, the way it's put together with all the different snippets. And there's some of these people. There's one that's from an unpublished general's autobiography or memoir, who was in charge of putting down the insurrection that was occurring in Mayapur after the imprisonment of the Indian Congress, who talks about all this strategy and all the things that he did as a commander. And interestingly, talks about how helpful Robert Merrick was. But it's all focused on himself and what he did, and also his family, and how his son was actually killed in war with the Japanese while this was going on, and it's really fascinating. But he's telling the story that most readers are going to think, I don't want to hear about that.
I'm trying to figure out what happened.
Figure out what happened here. And he's just, he's on the wrong side.
Yeah, and it does illustrate that everybody comes to this friction with their own perspective.
Yeah.
I also think it's an interesting point that, you're writing about how he's thinking about himself and his career, I guess, his glory, his strategy. And I think that's something that racism makes possible and makes colonialism attractive, because you don't really have to think about the people that you are fighting, because your racism allows you to think that they're not, they're not important. They're not worth thinking about. Really, what you're here to do is win your game of Risk, right? Yeah. And these aren't people; they're just players.
They're the little blue playthings on the board.
Yeah, and they're just non-entities to consider or to not consider, and that's an interesting aspect of that. Is that that excerpt? But you're right. I mean, it's an oblique way of understanding, and it might be frustrating, I suppose, if you're page turning for the plot.
Yeah. Because there's also you have Aunt Lily's memories of what happens. She's talking to the narrator about these things, and she's also writing letters, and she has a whole different perspective about Daphne and Harry, because they often met in her house. But anyway, some people might find that confusing or off-putting.
Right, like something to get through to find out the thing they want to learn. Sure, understood.
But I think it's really a big strength of the novel.
Well, it makes the point that he's making a point, and this is helping him do it, and that is that everybody has a perspective, and you can't begin to know it unless you start to understand these various perspectives that are brought to bear.
Yeah.
And why people do the things they do.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, how are you ranking this bad boy?
Well, okay. Unsurprisingly, I suppose.
Are you putting it right next to?
Right after Passage to India.
If you're reading through this list for your book club, you're going to have a couple books together.
Yeah.
Thematic.
Which, yeah.
But I like that because we talk a lot about books in conversation with each other.
Yeah.
Right? And obviously, having read Forster first and then this, you'd have a different, you can see what's happening.
Yeah. And of course, right before Passage to India, I had Midnight's Children.
Right. Which is
so it was kind of 3 Indian.
Oh, there you go. Cool. That's
from
very
3
cool.
different points of view, kind of in a row. So this is number 64. Passage to India is number 63, and then I had Go Tell It on the Mountain at number 65.
Just thematically linked for sure. Awesome. All right.
So there.
Well, that was fascinating. I guess I have heard of that novel, but if you'd asked me, I would never have known what it was about at all.
Yeah.
Not a clue. Great.
Oh, by the way, as I so often do, let me mention that there is an acclaimed television miniseries.
Okay, maybe that's how I've heard of it then, because I don't remember ever coming up against the book. So maybe it was the miniseries. When did the miniseries come out?
1984.
Okay, then that must have been it, because
which interestingly
that would have been in my network TV watching era.
There you go. Interestingly, that is the same year as the film version of Passage to India.
Oh, that's so funny.
So there's something in the air, I guess, at the time.
Somebody's buying up properties about the British colonial era of India.
Yeah. So there's a 14-episode limited series.
Oh, wow. That's long.
That covers not only the actual novel, Jewel in the Crown, but also the other 3 novels. So Jewel in the Crown itself only is maybe the first 5 episodes. And it did win the Emmy for Best Limited Series in 1985. And it won the BAFTA Award for Best Drama Series in 1985.
Nice.
So it was well acclaimed.
Do you know who's in it?
Not a lot of people that I knew, but one of the most interesting things about who's in it is that Dame Peggy Ashcroft plays a significant role in the TV series. Not a character who's actually in the first novel, but she's in much of the series.
Oh.
And she won a BAFTA Award for Best Actress in a TV series in 1985, the same year that she won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for playing Mrs. Moore in Passage to India.
She was like, I've found my lane and I'm staying in it.
This is my lane.
And I'm going to win the things.
I'm going to win everything there is by playing a British woman in India.
Yeah, how'd you say that? Yeah, okay.
So,
all right. Well, awesome. Very interesting.
So, is it time for Chaos Reader?
Yes. I'm still reading, as I mentioned before, What We Can Know by Ian McEwan, and it is really, really good. One of the ways that these people 100 years from now know things is because all of our emails and servers and stuff they're able to mine those things. So, like, he's studying this poet, Francis Blundy, and he can read 1 million comments online about, like, obviously he can't read that many, but they also have AI, some form of AI that's non-commercial, non-governmental, and he talks about how his students really use it to confess to or get advice. But if the AI realizes they're trying to get it to write a paper, it immediately shuts down.
An English professor's dream.
Also, and he's a humanities professor. Also, if they confess a crime to the AI, it reports them to the police. But otherwise, it's really like this kind of, it is a kind of confessional. Like they can say anything to it, and it's just there. He also talks about how married couples get together and they decide to merge their files, and although many break up after that, but they do it anyway as a gesture of their intimacy. And anyway, the book is about a poem that was read at a dinner party that has never been seen since, and he's trying to piece together, people's reactions to it. Why wasn't it published? Who has it? Where is it? And the poet's wife, Vivian Blundy, her files are in Scotland, and because of the inundation, the flooding after a nuclear incident, it's very dangerous now to go to Scotland. You can't, there's a lot of piracy and gang wars on boats, but I think we're headed there because he wants to get into her papers and find out if he can figure out where the poem is hidden. So, or where the poem got to, or who has it, so it's really interesting, and just how he deals with, like I said, it is about how we know things and what we can know, what is knowable, and all this information from computer, electronic, digital data sources still doesn't seem to inform our understanding of each other, much better. And I was listening to a podcast, Hidden Brain. It was about feeling loved. And that's a theme that my own novel deals with is, you can't know that someone loves you. You can only know if you feel loved. And in the book too, it kind of dealing with these aspects of how people feel about each other and how they respond to each other. And in the podcast, she talked about this woman who was a aristocrat, nobility, British nobility. So this kind of high society British woman went to dinner parties for Disraeli and Gladstone. And forgive me if I get the order wrong, but the point is, she went to a dinner for Gladstone, and they said, "How did you like the dinner?" And she said, "Oh my goodness, I was seated next to Gladstone. I just felt like he was the wittiest, most wonderful man in the world. Like, what a joy." And then she went to the party for Disraeli, and they said, "How did you like the dinner party?" And she said, "Oh my goodness, I was seated next to Disraeli, and I just felt like I was the most wonderful, most interesting person in the world." And that makes me think about this book too, is, how do we treat each other? How do we feel loved? How can we know? It's not just information that we can know. I mean, the most important thing is how we understand each other, right? And it just, I don't know, it's really interesting. I'm only 130 pages in, so.
Well, hurry up and finish that bad boy. I want to read it.
I might go faster now because I'm more focused on it. But anyway, that's random, or that's babbling. But anyway, it's a great book. I'm loving it.
All right then.
I love Ian McEwan, so never disappoints. All right. Well, we would really like to thank you for listening to our podcast and watching our YouTube. As you know, we're just independent Americans living in France doing a podcast on our own. So if you would be so kind as to share it with your friends who are book lovers, comment, like, and share online, etc. But just know we really do appreciate when we see those listens and those downloads. We really appreciate it, and we're out here thanking the universe for you. So have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Between the covers.